Once when King Vikramaditya returned home from hunting and was very thirsty, he became disturbed seeing the condition of the palace courtyard. One child had defecated and another had a runny nose. Seeing all this, he said to his sister-in-law, "Don't you have even a little manners? This looks more like an animal enclosure than a palace courtyard. One child has defecated and another's snake is deaf. How can one eat food after seeing all this?" Then his sister-in-law taunted him and said, "I will see you too, which queen of bold will you marry and bring?" He said to his sister-in-law in anger, "Now I will marry Queen of Bold and bring her here." Saying this, Vikramaditya turned back without eating anything, and started walking towards Queen of Bold's kingdom. Vikramaditya was well aware of the fact that Rani of Bold was more beautiful, witty and endowed with all virtues than the Apsaras. The greatest kings, Maharajas and even the emperor wanted to marry her, but Rani of Bold had a condition that she would marry only that person who would break her silence and call her 4 times in the 4 hours of the night. Any king or prince who was unable to do so would be punished by being imprisoned by the queen. Till now no king or prince had been able to call the queen even once, let alone 4 times. A wise king or prince had unsuccessfully tried to call the queen, who was now in her captivity. Rani of Bold had kept a big drum in front of her palace. Any king or prince who was interested in marrying the queen had to start by beating that drum loudly. King Vikramaditya made a plan while on the move. He had 4 such invisible warriors who obeyed his every order. King Vikramaditya reached Queen of Bold's palace with those warriors before evening and blew the trumpet and beat the drum loudly. On hearing the sound of the drum, the queen ordered her servants to take the drummer to the guest house with respect and give him a proper welcome. Before the first quarter of the night began, Queen of Bold got ready and sat on her bed in the palace, and ordered the servants to bring King Vikramaditya in front of her. King Vikramaditya came to Queen of Bold's palace on the request of the servants, and according to his plan, he made all his 4 invisible warriors sit in their very subtle forms at different places. One was placed near the queen's bed, the other side. Near the queen's monastery, the 3rd side. Near the queen's window, and the 4th side. He made her sit near the queen's necklace and he himself sat on a wooden chair in front of the queen. He tried to talk to the queen, but the queen did not respond. She sat in front of him as if she was a stone statue. Then King Vikramaditya looked towards the queen's bed and said, "O brother, queen's bed, the queen will not speak, now you tell me something to pass the night." Listening to the king, his brave son, who sat on the queen's bed, said, "Maharaj, I do not have enough brains to tell you something." "Yes, if you tell me something, I will definitely roar." King Vikramaditya said, "Okay, then listen. A king's son became friends with a trader's son. Both started living together from childhood. Studying together, playing together, the friendship between the two became so strong that both of them could not live without each other. Time passed and both of them became young. One day, the father of the merchant's son said to his son, "Son, now you have reached youth." The merchant's son said, "Father, I want to take my friend Prince Jairaj with me. We have promised each other that we will not go anywhere without each other." The merchant said, "Son, I have no problem, but keep in mind that the prince's hospitality in your in-law's place should be according to his reputation." The merchant's son Chandrapal took the greetings from his father and started towards his in-law's place with the prince. But in his mind, he was worried about what his father had said. He thought that if the prince's hospitality was not according to his reputation, he might feel bad. There was a temple of a goddess on the way. It was believed that whoever asked for anything there, his wish would be fulfilled. When the merchant and the prince reached in front of the temple, they also went to the temple to have the darshan of the goddess. Chandrapal prayed to the goddess with folded hands in his heart, "O goddess, nothing is more important to me than my friend. If he is welcomed as per his status in my in-law's house, then while returning I will offer you my head." Both of them left, and after traveling for some time, they reached the in-law's house of Chandrapal, i.e. the son of a merchant. Chandrapal's father-in-law was a very well-known moneylender of his city. He had no shortage of anything. He took good care of his son-in-law and his friend and did not let them go for 15 days. And he welcomed them with great respect, which impressed Chandrapal and the prince a lot. On the 16th day, on Chandrapal's insistence, he sent him off with his daughter with great respect. On the way, the prince praised his friends-in-laws a lot in front of his friend. When they reached the temple of the goddess while walking, the merchant's son asked his wife and friend to wait for a while and went inside the temple, and as per his promise, he cut off his head and offered it at the feet of the goddess. When he did not come for a long time, Prince Jairaj went to the temple to see him. Seeing his cut head, the ground slipped from under his feet. He thought that if his friend is not alive, then what will I do by living? He also cut off his head. On the other hand, when the newly married Chandrakala got tired of waiting for a long time, she also went inside the temple fearing something untoward. When she saw the scene there, she lost her senses. The atmosphere was shaken by her loud scream. Crying, she said in front of the goddess, "Oh mother, what is this disaster? What will I do in my in-laws' house without my husband? Everyone will call me unlucky and will blame me. Now there is no point in my living." As soon as he raised his sword, Goddess Ma appeared and stopped him from doing so by holding his hand. Then Chandrakala said, "O Goddess Ma, you have already sacrificed my husband and his friend. You did not stop these two from sacrificing themselves, so why are you stopping me now? Sacrifice me too, and anyway what will I do by living without my husband?" Devi Ma said, "I am very impressed by your husband's devotion, Prince Jairaj's friendship and your loyalty and love for your husband, so I want to give life to both your husband and the prince. Place your heads on their bodies as they are alive, I will revive them." Chandrakala quickly picked up their heads and placed them on their bodies. Devi Ma raised her hand and released a ray of divine light and both of them became alive. After reviving them, Devi Ma disappeared. But in haste, Chandrakala made a mistake. She placed her husband's head on the prince's body, and the prince's head on her husband's body. King Vikramaditya said to the queen's bed, "Tell me, queen's bed, whose wife is Chandrakala, the one with the torso of Chandrapal, the merchant's son, or the one with his head?" The queen's bed said, "Maharaj, I don't have enough brains, that I just lie here on one side. The queen never covers me, never spreads me, dust remains on me." Hearing this, the queen said in anger, "O bed, how dare you? I cover you properly every day, spread a new sheet on you every day. You never talk to me, and you always speak ill of me with the foreigners. Let the morning come, if I don't get you beaten up, then tell me." Then the queen said to King Vikramaditya, "I have heard a lot about your wife. You tell me? Whose wife is Shangrakala?" Then, King Vikramaditya said, "O queen, Shangrakala is the wife of her husband's husband." As soon as the queen said this, King Vikramaditya said, "Beat the drum of the Dalia, queen, say it once." The doll player beat the drum fast. On hearing the drum, the queen's prisoners in the jail also became happy. They started whispering among themselves, "It seems some good man of the master has come, who has called Queen Abolade 4 times and freed us from this imprisonment. The queen's bed has made us spend 1 hour of the night. Now you also say something. This night will not pass like this." Then the brave man sitting on the queen's bed said, "Maharaj, do I have enough intelligence to say something to you?" "Yes, if you say something, I will definitely roar." Then King Vikramaditya said, "If this is the case then listen." The king and the moneylender's son, who used to play together in childhood, had a very deep friendship. At a young age, both of them made a promise to each other. The one who gets married first will send his wife to someone else on the very first night. Time passed. The matter also became old. Both of them became young. The moneylender married his son Madhav on a beautiful night. After some time her husband Madhav came to the room with a sad face and sat quietly. Seeing her husband with such a sad face, Mohini understood that there must be something wrong. She said, "What is the matter, dear? Are you angry with me? Do you not like me?" Madhav said, "No dear, there is nothing like that." Mohini said, "Did my family members leave some stone unturned in the transaction? Or did they not treat your family members well?" Madhav said, No, that is not the case." The newly married Mohini said, "Then what is the matter that you are hesitating to tell me? I have married you. I am your better half, your happiness, sorrow are now mine too. So you can tell me what is in your mind. Madhav spoke softly while feeling shy. In the innocence of boyhood, I had given a promise to my friend Prince Harshavardhan, which I can neither break nor keep. Mohini said, what kind of promise have you made? You can tell me. Madhav said that the promise itself is such that I am also hesitant to tell you. Whatever your promise is, you should tell me without hesitation. I will also support you in fulfilling your promise. Even if I have to give my life for this, I will do so happily. Madhav said that both of us friends had promised each other that whoever gets married first will send his wife to his friend on his wedding night. Now if I break my promise, I will betray my friend, and if I keep it, then your honor will be lost. I have promised you to save someone. Mohini thought for some time after listening to everything. Then she said, oh dear friend, don't worry about anything. You just give me permission. I will keep your promise and also save my religion. Madhav's mind was relieved by his wife Mohini's words. He gave Mohini permission to go to Prince Harshavardhan. Mohini started walking towards the palace of Prince Harshavardhan, adorned with 16 ornaments and playing sparkling anklets. Some thieves were waiting on the way. When they saw a woman laden with jewelry coming, their eyes lit up. They stopped Mohini with the intention of looting and threatened her, saying, quietly take off all your jewelry and give it to us, otherwise we will kill you and take all the jewelry. Mohini said, leaving her hand, please leave me now, I am going for some very important work, for which it is very important to have these jewelry on my body. I promise, when I return, you yourself will come back. Mohini soon climbed the stairs of the palace of Prince Harshavardhan and reached in front of his door. When Mohini was going to another man's room on her first night, only one thing was going on in her mind, that she has to save her husband's honor and her own dignity somehow. Climbing the stairs of Harshavardhan's palace, she reached his room. Prince Harshavardhan was sleeping soundly on his bed in his room. Mohini twisted his love's thumb and woke him up and said, wake up, come Varsa, wake up. Prince Harshavardhan sat up startled. He was shocked to see a beautiful woman in front of him, adorned with all the 16 ornaments, like an apsara. It felt as if he was seeing a dream. He rubbed his eyes again and again and saw that this was not a dream but reality. A beautiful woman was really standing in front of him. He asked very politely, "Oh goddess, who are you and where have you come from? What is your purpose of coming to my bedroom at this time of the night?" Then Mohini said, "I am Mohini, the newly married wife of your friend Madhav, and I have come to fulfill his promise." Harshavardhan said, "Promise? What kind of promise?" Mohini said, "It was decided between you and your friend in childhood that the one who gets married first will send his wife to his friend on the wedding night. Just to fulfill that promise, I have come here to you on the request of your friend Madhav." Hearing all this, Prince Harshavardhan was stunned for a moment. When he thought about it, he remembered everything and felt very ashamed. He said, "Oh goddess, forgive me. We had promised each other in our innocence. This was not a promise, but our childhood innocence. My friend's wife is my sister-in-law, and sister-in-law is like a mother or sister. I am very ashamed of my childhood innocence. From today itself, I make you my religious sister." After saying this, Prince Harshavardhan gave Mohini a chanari and a plate full of diamonds and pearls and bid her farewell. Mohini returned to her home. She started walking towards him. On the way, the same thieves were waiting for her. On hearing the sound of her anklets, they stopped. They wondered if she had brought some soldiers with her. When they were convinced that she was alone, they discussed among themselves and said, "Oh brother, this woman is really true to her word." Meanwhile, Mohini reached them. Giving them the plate of diamonds and pearls given by Prince Harshavardhan, she said, "Keep this too. This was also in your destiny. Wait, I will take off all my jewelry and give it to you." Saying this, she started taking off her jewelry there. The thieves were astonished. They stopped her and said, "Jada Ruko, first you tell us where you went, and where did you get this plate full of diamonds and pearls?" Then Mohini told them her whole story in detail. After listening to everything, the thieves folded their hands and said, "Oh goddess, you are blessed, that without worrying about your shame, you took such a big step to save your husband's honor. We also want to make a woman of character like you our sister. Will you give us the honor of accepting sinners like us as your brothers?" On getting Mohini's approval, the thieves returned the plate full of diamonds and jewels to her, and also gave her the looted money, and respectfully took her to her home. After saying this much, King Vikramaditya said to the queen's pot, "Tell me, whose sacrifice is greater, the thieves or Prince Harshavardhan's?" said the hero placed on the pot. "Maharaj, I don't have the intelligence to tell you whose sacrifice is bigger or smaller. I am just a simple pot that lies in a corner. No one drinks water from me, no one cleans me, and no one changes my water. So Maharaj, forgive me, I will not be able to solve this problem of yours." Hearing the pot's words, Queen Silent got angry and said, "O pot, how dare you? I clean you every day, change your water every day, you never talk to me and you speak ill of me to foreigners. Let the morning come, if you don't get your words out, then tell me." Then the queen said to King Vikramaditya, "I have heard a lot about your justice. You tell me whose sacrifice is bigger." Vikramaditya said, "O queen, Prince Harshavardhan was the son of a king. He had no dearth of anything, neither money nor women. Will giving a plate of food reduce her goodness?" But the thieves not only stopped looting Mohini, but also gave her all their looted wealth. So the sacrifice of the thieves was greater than that of Prince Harshavardhan. Completely agreeing with King Vikramaditya, the queen once again sat down with alertness. King Vikramaditya said smilingly, "O drummer, beat the drum." The queen said, "Now beat the drum for the second time." The drummer beat the drum fast. Hear the sound of the drum for the second time in the second quarter of the night. The happiness of the queen's prisoners in the jail knew no bounds. They were sure that whichever noble man is sitting in front of the queen this time, he will call the queen 4 times, and we will also be released from the prison. King Vikramaditya said to the warrior sitting on the queen's window, "O queen's window, 2 hours of the night the queen's bed and the hut have been closed for a while. You have made me spend the night, now you also say something, this night will not pass like this." Then the brave man sitting on the queen's window said, "Maharaj, do I have enough intelligence to say something to you?" "Yes, if you say something I will definitely roar." Then King Vikramaditya said, "If that is the case then listen. A Thakur and a moneylender's son had a strong relationship. Both of them were together since childhood. Both of them were married in childhood, but the wives of both were in their maternal homes. On becoming adults, both of them left together to bring their wives. Moneylender's son Gangadhar also took his bard with him. After walking together for a long distance, they reached a place from where the path to their in-laws' house was different. Moneylender's son Gangadhar and Thakur's son Vishnudat said to each other, "Whoever reaches here first, will wait for the other." Saying this, both the friends bid farewell to each other. After some time, Gangadhar reached his in-law's place with his barber. When the in-laws saw the barber with their son-in-law, an old woman advised the others to take good care of the barber as well. "When he goes to his village, he will praise us and our daughter's respect will increase." With this thought in mind, they took better care of the barber's son than their son-in-law. Whether it was feeding him or making the bed or cleaning the toilet, they never asked about the barber's son first. This thing bothered Gangadhar. He felt that his dominance was diminishing and he was in a hurry to go home. After 2-3 days of respect and hospitality, his in-laws respectfully gave them a horse carriage and sent their daughter Ambika off with them. On the way, the barber was praising Gangadhar's in-laws and saying that his in-laws have taken better care of him than their son-in-law. The barber's words added fuel to the fire. Gangadhar, who was already full of anger, got more angry with her words. He left his wife and the barber on the road and left for his home alone. His newly married wife Ambika kept looking at him as if she was cheated. After Gangadhar left, the barber also took the opportunity and left for his village. It was as if a mountain of sorrows fell on the newly married Ambika. With a sad heart, she gathered courage and decided to go back home and turn the horse cart towards home. But destiny had something else in store. She lost her way and reached some other city. As soon as she entered the city, there was a gardener's house. Ambika gave her some money and convinced her to stay with her for a few days. The gardener would pick flowers from the garden and Ambika would make very beautiful and unique garlands and bouquets from them. the gardener would deliver them to the royal palace. One day the king asked the gardener, "These days you bring very beautiful and attractively crafted bouquets and garlands from the forest. If you cannot do such beautiful craftsmanship, then who makes these bouquets and garlands?" The gardener said, "Maharaj, a seamstress has been staying at my house for a few days. She is very talented. She makes such beautiful bouquets and garlands every day." Hearing the gardener's words, the king thought in his mind, "The one who makes such beautiful garlands and bouquets, how beautiful she herself would be." As soon as this thought came to his mind, a lustful feeling arose inside him. The 50-year-old lustful king said to the gardener, "You go to your house right now and present that seamstress in front of me." The gardener went to Ambika and told her the order of King Bhanu Pratap. Ambika refused, saying that what work do I have with the king, but the gardener could not ignore the king's orders. After listening to her and pleading, she took Ambika to the palace. When the king saw the beauty and looks of Ambika, he was fascinated by her. None of his queens was as beautiful and talented as him. The king immediately ordered Ambika to be sent to his palace. Ambika begged the king and said, "O king, you are the owner of this city. By this name, you are like my father. Then how can you keep me in your palace?" King Bhanu Pratap said, "You are not from our city. Therefore, we cannot be your father. You will have to live in our palace." When King Bhanu Pratap did not agree even after a lot of persuasion, Ambika said, "Maharaj, I am a married woman. My husband abandoned me. You will also commit a sin by living with a married woman. Please give me 6 months of time. If my husband does not come to take me in the meantime, then I will consider myself unmarried and will come to your palace." Hearing this, the king gave her 6 months of time, but kept her under house arrest in a secluded palace outside the city. Ambika used to keep an eye on the road from the palace door every day, so that if by mistake someone from her mother's or in-laws' house came to use her, she could send a message about her condition with him. On the other hand, Thakur Vishnadatta was waiting for his friend at the fixed place with his wife. When Gangadhar reached there alone after abandoning his wife, Vishnadatta said on seeing him coming alone, "O friend, what a fool you are, alone." Then Gangadhar told him the whole incident. On hearing everything, Vishnadatta angrily rebuked him and said, "Shame on you, friend, you punished your innocent wife for someone else's crime. If her family members did more for your barber than you, then what was the fault of Bobby in this? Does anyone leave his wife for such a small thing? We should go back now and bring Bobby." Gangadhar agreed with Vishnadatta. Vishnadatta made his wife stay in a nearby village and himself set out with Gangadhar to bring back his wife. When Gangadhar inquired with the people at his in-laws' house, he came to know that his wife had not reached her mother's house. Instead of going to his in-laws' house, he set out from there with Vishnadatta in search of Ambika. While searching, both of them reached the same town. When Ambika saw them coming from the door of the palace, she immediately recognized her husband and asked the palace servants to call them to the palace. Gangadhar also apologized to Ambika and asked them to come. Then Ambika told them all the things that happened with her in detail and said that first we both have to go in front of the king and take permission from him. Both of them went in front of the king. Ambika told the king that, "Maharaj, my husband has come to take me. So please give us permission to go now." The king also kept his word and allowed Ambika to go with her husband. The three of them left from there, on the way Kashinath. He took his wife Gauri with him, and everyone came to their city and started living peacefully. After saying this much, King Vikramaditya said to Veer sitting in his window, "O Queen's window, tell me, who was greater, Gangadhar and Ambika?" Veer sitting in the window said, "O Maharaj, I don't know how many years of dust has accumulated on me, neither I am ever cleaned, nor painted. I don't have enough intelligence to tell you, who is greater and who is less." Listening to Veer sitting in the window, the queen could not control herself once again. And she said angrily, "O window, how dare you? I get you cleaned every day, I get you painted anew every 6 months, you never talk to me, and you speak ill of me in front of foreigners. Let the morning come, you are not great." There was no greatness of Gangadhar in this. He had abandoned his innocent wife. The greatness was of Ambika. She had every opportunity to become the queen. But even then she remained firm on her duty towards her husband.